the members of the school administration, the faculty members, the dignitaries and academicians present here, the graduates and postgraduate students of management participating in this conference. A very good morning to all of you. And in the very onset, I am very happy that I am invited here to share with you some of my views on leadership, the requirement of leadership in the present day situation, the challenges of leadership in the present day situation, and what we can do and how we can incorporate the spiritual aspect of life, the spiritual wisdom that is available to us, and the spiritual inspirations that we can draw from surroundings, scriptures, and so on and so forth. I have titled my small presentation, Transformational Leaders for Human Well-Being. I am trying in this paper, in this presentation, to understand various leadership thoughts and practices that have evolved along the decades and the forces that exert influence and demand a different paradigm of leadership in today's global environment where attention to human well-being is the urgency. In introduction, let's have a fast look at the situation. Never has the world been so turbulent than it is at the onset of 21st century. Every sphere of human life, be it economical, social, political or religious, is witnessing change as never before. You know, there is a principle of obsolete and update, operating and driving innovation and reinvention is constantly giving rise to newer and more complex standards and systems in management, trends and tendencies in leadership, attitudes and aspirations at every domain of life. Truly, we can say we are in the midst of a rapidly evolving new world order. You should catch certain words from my sharing. A new world order we are facing. In a wider focus, just putting your minds into the context, business world today is feverish about the flat world. Thomas Friedman, the most celebrated columnist on management and economics, he writes that at the dawn of the 21st century, as we have entered a flat world of digitization, virtualization and automation, a new group of people, several billion, have rushed onto the playing field from China, India and the former Soviet Empire without having to emigrate. Consequently, both individuals and business have begun to develop a new mindset, adapt new habits, skills and processes to get the most out of it. What more? A digital nervous system set to replace the human nervous system, and it will create a new universal space for interaction and collaboration with flawless accuracy, immediacy and richness of solutions and responses within and between organizations. This is an idea that is drawn from Bill Gates. Converging along these lines are the ever-surging flow of human capital across borders, renewed emergence of female power, the intervention of social organizations and activist groups voicing the plight of more than 4 billion at the bottom of the pyramid, and the nagging issue of endangered ecosystem of the planet, all elements so concoct, so mixed and so fused that today's leaders can ill afford to ignore. So that is in short the environment, the situation and the air that we are going through. You know, air of turbulence, air of change, air of rapid disruption. You know, that's the situation where you are. How can one steer through this environment? How can a leader today take his organization, whatever be the organization, small, big, private, public, religious, social, political, economical, business, even a family, how do you steer through such an environment? In my study on leadership, I researched, I went on to study the leaders who made history, who changed the course of the world in the 19th and 20th century. I picked up some prominent leaders, both Indian, Western and Asian, personalities, like Alfred P. Sloan, Eleanor Roosevelt, Mahatma Gandhi, Pope John XXIII, the Christian leader Martin Luther King Jr., political leader Margaret Thatcher, and so on and so forth, and the like. What made them leaders? What made them powerful? What made them influential? Or what made them impactful? What made them successful? We call Gandhiji was successful. Gandhiji changed the course of the history of a nation. Even he changed the course of the history of the world during his time. What made them as what they were? In their respective framework, each of them were successful leaders amidst enormous flux and tide of events unprecedented in history. The type of environment that we are experiencing was also experienced at the end of the 19th century and at the dawn of the 20th century. You know, the whole world went through that. Our fathers, our grandfathers will know it, what they experienced while living in India. While each of them followed their distinct and unique style in their own context. Gandhiji had his own style, his own personality. Martin Luther King, who imitated Gandhiji, he had his own style and his own personality. You know, many others. Pope John XXIII, he had his own personality. In their own context, certain key constants were common to all. There is a common denominator that characterizes all these leaders, be it in 19th century or 20th century or even today for that matter. A careful revisit of each style reveals that all of them flowed a message. All of them carried a product. I call it a message. You can call it a vision, and articulated in mission statement. There was unique and provided conviction through the embodiment of the message. Professor Lotta brought about a beautiful point. I will refer to it a little later too. They embodied the message. While each of them showed expertise to attain a position in his or her respective domain, each also mindfully articulated a broader and more encompassing definition of the message. Gandhiji did not limit himself to India alone. His message rippled. His message resonated. His message resounded through the whole world. Many others picked it up. Many others not living in India followed him. And they changed the course of the history of the world. In this way, each of them found his message rising forth beyond the immediate arena with a strong appeal to a larger humanity. While their voices affected their respective immediate world, each of them provided leadership that spoke to the wider world and rather to the whole world. Such an effect, in fact, is what made them powerful. Message, the articulation of the message, embodiment of the message, not for oneself, for a wider scope. The widest scope possible. That made them leaders. That made them powerful. That made them heard. That made them influential and enduring and marked their leadership as extraordinary. So this being the past, this being recorded in golden words in history, what shall we say about contemporary leadership? True. Contemporary leadership practice has derived much of his contents from these legends. His actions, strength of his actions. He formed a team, a band of chosen 12 persons, 12 followers, 12 men team. You know, team is not just gathering 11 people to play football. No. Getting people to get into your vision, getting people to resonate with your ideas, getting people to vibrate with your plans. This is called team building. So they resonated with him. They were so confluenced with his mind and body that they were all in all for him. He branched it out. He stretched himself liberally to all kind of people, all section of people, all departments, all areas, all geographic areas, all social areas, and so on and so forth. He branched out beautifully. He was always bold. He argued with scholars, stormed the temple. He faced opposition very gracefully. So he had that boldness, the spiritual boldness, what we call. He took one step at a time. Never jumped into the river without knowing the depth. Never jumped into the river without knowing the depth. Not in a hurry. He said, my hour has not come. He trained his replacement. Friends, succession planning. Succession planning. You are developing organization. You are not developing your bag. Transformational leader means someone who builds legacy for the organization. That means he trains his replacement. Legacy continues. Legacy continues. You know what happens at GE? Every time when a CEO is about to retire or about to step down, can you tell me how many CEOs are ready within the organization? 5. Exactly. You can say that today. But it's a mandate that the CEO has to present to the board 5 CEOs already. And outside the bench, you know, Walmart, and everybody else is waiting to grab other 4 when the one is selected out of 5. How beautiful that is. Succession planning. So, build people, train your replacement. And he was a turnaround specialist. Even in failure, he turned around. You know, the blind, the lame, the dead, the crippled, the leper, and the kankal, the one with no penny, everyone came to him. They all came alive when they met him, when they touched him, or when they interacted with him. So, that's all about the action, relationship, strength of relationship. He believed in others. Once again, team building tactic. He was open to others' ideas. He treated them as equals. He educated them, spent a lot of time with them, provided opportunity as well as authority. He held them accountable. He said, if you are faithful in little, you will be master of great things. Accountability was very important for him. He saw his people as his great accomplishments. His people were his great accomplishments, not product. He built people. He says, I am proud of them. I am glorified in them. My greatness or my essence is reflected in the people whom I have trained, people whom I have built, people whom I have formed, people whom I have developed. I am sure, I am confident that these thoughts that I have shared with you from Bible directly, they are not typical to Bible alone. In every, you talk about Gita, you talk what goes on between Krishna ji and Arjun. You will find the parallel thoughts. You will find parallel thoughts. You analyze Nishkama Karma theory, the Karma theory of management, there is a book. You will find total spiritual wisdom for secular management, for out in the world management, both for corporates, both for NGOs, both for non-profit and also for profit market. It's available. It is all there. It is all there because it is needed today. At the end, leaders who are attentive, reflective and open-minded can do great things if they are able to embed such spiritual values into their leadership endeavors. We have a very spiritual economist, very spiritual leader, very spiritual thinker, Amartya Sen. He was granted a Nobel Prize. Not because he presented a, a heart-throbbing academic paper. Because he developed a spiritual document. I would say even a Pope would not have written such a spiritual document. His book that won his Nobel Laureate Award, Development as Freedom, his thoughts are summarized this way. In conclusion, I consider it right to recall the thoughts of Nobel Laureate Amartya Sen that in a world of uncertainty, suspicion and growing strain on human freedom, leadership should be able to take into account the human intentionality, a beautiful word, a very important word, of every action, demonstrate openness to integrate various converging elements of the flat world, focus on productive measures for advancing a grand society of interdependence, integration and inclusiveness. The whole idea of, cascading activities through the organizations irrespective of the silos available. You make your organization interdependent, integrated and inclusive, and always seek to define development not just in terms of economic growth alone, rather in terms of human well-being and freedom that holds the capacity for sustainable economic development and social progress. This indeed calls for spiritually awakened leadership, which alone can transform society. This is a compelling urgency, easily spelt than met. I am glad SMS is organizing this seminar on this particular topic. I am also grateful to them for inviting me to be part of this venture, this endeavor, this noble exercise. Together, I believe we will make a change. We will make an impact on the generation that is trained here, who in turn will affect the market, and the market in turn will affect the society for a better world, a peaceful world, a beautiful world where everybody will be happy, where everybody will be healthy, and where everybody will be prospering. Thanks all of you for lending me your ears. Wish you good day and God bless you. Thank you.